Welcome back to my podcast, Amicably Yours, Jana. This is my podcast where I discuss how we can amicably reduce conflict during the separation and divorce process. Today, I really want to focus on practical solutions for reducing conflict during this period. Perhaps you're currently going through a separation or a divorce and you're thinking, how on earth do I stay amicable? Well, I want to talk to you about some practical ways to do that. So the first thing I want to talk about is communication, right? So we've just gone through, this period of change in our lives and conflict is arising, and the communication between the parties is so vital. And it's so important to try and keep that communication as amicable as possible. And I'm going to give you some tips on how to do that. It's very easy during this period to blame the other party, right? You're the one leaving the families. We're only doing this because you want to. This is all your fault, blah, 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 right? It's easy to rant and blame the other party. Instead of putting blame, when you pick up the phone or in writing, use I statements. So say, I feel overwhelmed by this change in our situation. I feel that decisions are being made very quickly. I need more time, right? Instead of blaming, use I statements about how you feel. Okay, so that's a good first pointer. Second thing is, don't get into text battles. It never ends well, right? It's so easy to just do, right? And then you get another pissy text back and then you go at it again and it just blows everything up. Try not to get into text battles. Okay, if there's a heated moment, take a pause, set your phone back, say, you know what, I'm going to deal with that later. There's no rush. Just put it back, put it away. I also want particularly parents to keep in mind that their communication, whether it's text, phone calls, emails, should try and be child-focused, okay? Think about your children's best interest when you're framing your asks to the other party. Think about your children's best interest when you're receiving an ask, okay? Don't think about your interest or what would make you feel good in that moment. Think about what's best for your kids. And I think that that's a really good approach to have because it will help reduce the conflict and not make it about you two, but make it about what is best for our kid in this situation. I'm not sure if you guys have heard of co-parenting apps, but there's quite a few available. There's some awesome apps, right? You can message on the apps and the apps will tell you whether your tone is off. The apps will keep your messages as a recording that can officially be used if necessary by lawyers or the courts. It's a really great tool to keep your communication in one place with your co-parent because sometimes parties feel overwhelmed or they get anxiety when they see messages flying in from their ex. But if you keep on the app, you can go log in once a day, read your messages when you're ready, put it away. Right? And I think that that's a really great way to regulate the anxiety or the emotions that you feel when you see a message pop up. Okay, then the second practical tip that I want to talk about is creating a separation roadmap. And this is really where I come in as your counsel or even as your mediator. I want to hear your story. I want to know what problems are we dealing with. Are there kids? Do we need spousal support? What are your incomes looking like? What property do we have? So we can lay out our roadmap of what we need to resolve and how we want to do that as amicably as possible. Right? Step 1 would be to do a disclosure. Step 2 might be to send through an offer. And then maybe we want to have a 4-way settlement meeting, or maybe we want to head to mediation. But just having that roadmap not only keeps you as the client informed as to the process, but it helps you, I think, feel comfortable knowing that your matter is moving forward exactly as we've planned in an amicably manner as possible. Amicable manner? Anyway, you get my point. So I think the roadmap is great. We need to know what needs to be decided, what decisions should be made, who is responsible for which tasks, right? I'm going to give you some homework. I'm going to have some homework and we're going to get moving. And then the roadmap, like I said, reduces uncertainty for you, which I think ultimately might reduce your anxiety and maybe even help reduce some conflict between you and the other parent if you know that things are moving forward in a reasonable way. Okay, the third tip I have for you is to set boundaries early on and make sure that those are respectful. Boundaries can involve communication frequencies, they can involve household routines, they can involve child transitions, they can involve social media use, money decisions. And by reinforcing boundaries, it's about providing you with clarity, not about punishing the other parent. So in order for you to now establish a new life for you and to make sure that you feel comfortable and not infringed upon, it's okay to set boundaries, right? And to say, this is how I would like my communication boundary to be respected. 1 or 2 communication, let's say emails a day. That's all, right? I would like, household routines to be respected, my boundaries respected. Please don't infringe upon me to do things exactly the way that you do them in your house. Okay, there's boundaries there, and those boundaries are so important to maintain our emotional stability throughout this process and not feel like, you're being told what to do at every point in turn by your ex. Okay, then the 4th practical tip is the 48-hour rule. This one's great, right? Some people have the 24-hour rule, 48-hour rule. If you get a nasty email or an email that attacks your character or an email that dictates to you how you should be parenting or living your life or whatnot, don't keyboard warrior back. Read it. It's gonna make you angry. It's gonna make you emotional. Put it away. Don't respond right away. Give yourself at least 24 hours, perhaps even 48 hours to respond. It's okay to wait. It's better to wait, to think through your response, be reasonable in your response, than to say things that you're going to regret, which is just going to blow up the conflict between the two of you at this point in time. For parents, the 5th practical component is to continuously prioritize your children's needs. Okay, what's in the children's best interest? Always look at that, whether it's about parenting time, whether it's about communication, whether it's about vacations, whether it's about school decisions. Always frame it. What does my child need to have safety, consistency, and love from both parents? Kids don't need conflict. They don't need to hear their parents fighting. And they don't need to be in the middle of this. So try and keep the children out of it, but maintain that the children's best interests are what's framing your decisions. The other thing to keep in mind with the kiddos is that your kids should not be in the middle of your arguments. Your kids should not be your messengers. Do not send notes through your kids. Do not say, hey, tell your dad not to be late next time. Okay? Don't do that. Don't even pass physical letters through your kids. Hey, give this to your dad. No. Your kids are children. They need to live their life and they can't be in the middle of your conflict. If you need to communicate, you do that through an app or email or text, or you can call them. Okay? Keep your kids out of it. Try and limit their exposure to any conflict between the two of you. It's also very important to note that when it comes to kids, that you need to respect their relationship with the other parent as much as possible, which means not speaking poorly about the other parent to the children. Despite your feelings and what you may feel, keep that to yourself and to your best friend and with your mom, right? Just make sure that you're valuing your children's best interest, right? That would be the love from both parents. And you're trying not to bring damage to their image or the way that they see their other parent. Okay, then next, I want to talk practically about how to approach lots of kids will have questions about, well, why did you leave dad? Or now, are you guys fighting? Right? Are you not on the same page? Convey to your child, we both love you. We both want what's best for you. And make sure that you validate that shared interest to your kids, even if your relationship with the other parent ended or is ending, right? That is so important to the child, to know that one parent doesn't love them less because the parents have now separated or one has left the house. Okay? We both love you. We both want you to thrive. We both want what's best for you. We both can't wait to see you, kill it at your hockey game, right? Just be positive about the fact that both parents are still involved in that child's life. No matter that. Okay, so those are my practical tips. There are professionals that can help us with those practical tips, right? Like me as your lawyer, I could definitely do that. Myself as your mediator, I can definitely do that and help guide you through approaches that will help you build on those practical skills. There's also people like Heidi Dinning, who's the divorce coach, or your therapist will help you perhaps reframe or restructure your thoughts around your interests versus your position and that kind of thing. The idea really is that finding the right supports early on will help us reduce conflict. And it's important to know these practical tips and to start implementing them as soon as possible so that we can maintain as much of your relationship if it's suitable. Okay, well, those are my practical tips for helping to reduce conflict during times of separation and divorce, and I hope that you found that helpful.